We saw a bunch of moves this offseason, some that seem to be working out, and some that teams are probably wishing they didn't decide to do. So today, we're going to go through and regrade all the big moves based on what we've seen to start this season. So if you guys like the content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's aim for 14 likes on today's video, and let's get into this. For today's video, we've got a sponsor that's going to be around for a while, and I'm super excited about it. It's called PrizePicks. If you're anything like me, watching NBA games is fun, but watching with the chance to make some money really changes the experience, and that's what you can do on PrizePicks. It's legal in most states such as California, Texas, New York, and a lot more, and it's pretty simple. They give you a bunch of these lines, such as James Harden 23.5 points against the Bulls on Monday. You choose over or under. You do between 2 and 5 of these, and you can win up to 10 times your entry. They have different stats such as points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, or even fantasy points. You can even mix your entries. You can take the LeBron over, and on the same entry, take the Lamar Jackson under. We're all big NBA fans here, but they have just about any sport you can think of, and it's all on a super easy to use app, both on Android and iOS, or you can use the web browser. Just look what I did yesterday. I decided to choose some lines for the Blazers versus Clippers game. The first thing I saw was Damian Lillard 25.5 points, which felt kind of rich, given the pretty rough start to the season he is having, but the blow-up game has to be coming, so I actually took the over. Then I saw Reggie Jackson 4.5 assists, and I decided to take the under, as he's only had 5 or more in 3 of his 9 games so far. Then lastly, I took the over on Paul George 3-pointers, which was at 3. He's hit the over on 5 of his 9 games, and he hasn't in the last 2, so it feels like a good get-right opportunity. Now, if I'm super confident that all of these are going to happen, I can get 5 times my entry, or I can decide to do what they call flex, which means I only need to get 2 out of the 3 for 1.25 times my entry, but if I still manage to get all 3, I'll get 2.25 times my entry. So I decided to do that. I use PrizePicks all the time right now, and I'm truly excited to play with you guys. If you think this sounds interesting, check out PrizePicks with the link in the description below, or use code JIMMER, and they're gonna match your first deposit up to $100. You heard that right, they're giving you a free $100. If you guys end up making any picks, send me them on Twitter, and I'll make sure to follow you guys back. Now let's get back into the video. The first moves, or really series of moves made by a team that we're gonna talk about, is probably the most clear A+ I think we have, and that's everything that the Chicago Bulls decided to do. They acquired Lonzo Ball in a sign and trade, giving him a 4-year, $80 million deal. They acquired DeMar DeRozan in a sign and trade, giving up a top 10 protected pick and 2 seconds, signing him to a 3-year, $82 million contract. They also gave Alex Caruso a 4-year, $37 million deal. They gave up Lauri Markkanen, sending him to the Cavs in a sign and trade in exchange for Derrick Jones Jr. and a future first and second. Following the offseason, I think most people loved the moves that they made, especially given this was considered by many a very weak free agency class. They've either been in mediocrity or a rebuild for a very long time. The young core that they were building was very strong individually, but it was clear that they were going to have to make some big moves if they really wanted to start climbing the league standings, so they got aggressive. They started with trading for Vucevic at the deadline. Then they obviously made all the free agency moves we just listed, and so far, almost every single one of them seems to be a home run. DeMar DeRozan at 32 years old is on pace to have one of the best seasons of his career. We really haven't gotten a chance to see him much playing in San Antonio for the past few seasons, but now he's averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 50% from the field and a surprising 39% from 3. Lonzo Ball hasn't taken another jump, but he's really done exactly what he came here to do. He's averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 41% from 3 on almost 7 attempts a game. His ability to be such a prolific catch-and-shoot scorer at this point in his career really allows his offense to open up, forcing it to not run through any one player too much. Alex Caruso is not shocking the world. He's averaging 8 points and 4 assists, but we know what he is. He brings his team great rotational point minutes, he's a solid defensive piece, which is much needed for this roster, and he can shoot the ball at a solid clip. I think an underrated part of improvement for teams is being able to let go of guys. I think not having the pressure of giving their former top pick, Lauri Markkanen, touches and minutes really helps. He's now over there in Cleveland, and for some reason playing the small forward position, averaging 13 points, shooting 36% from the field and 28% from 3. The Bulls right now are tied for the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 7-3, but I still think we haven't seen their full form. There's a lot of guys still trying to figure it out. Vucevic this season has really struggled. He's averaging 13 and 11, shooting 38% from the field and 26% from 3. That's going to improve. Zach LaVine so far has been great, but he's struggling beyond the perimeter, shooting just 32% from 3, a category in which he's been amongst the league's elite in for the past few seasons. we know this will improve. There's a lot of talk about how impressive and how fun this team is to watch right now, but I still think they might not be given the credit that they deserve in terms of their playoff chances. If this is the DeMar DeRozan we are going to see, they really might have the talent to go toe-to-toe with the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Now sure, they lack some glue guys that could really hurt them in a playoff run, but they might not be done making moves. Going based on what they did this offseason though, I think anything less than an A+ is just disrespectful. The next big move we're going to talk about is a pretty tough one to grade, and that's Kyle Lowry signing with the Heat on a 3-year, $90 million deal. I had my concerns about this move, given that Kyle Lowry came into the season at 35 years old, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to work out pretty well. On paper, it hasn't been great for Lowry. He's averaging 10 points. The last time he was doing this, it was 2009. He's also averaging 7 assists and 5 rebounds, shooting 39% from the field and 34% from 3. He's been dealing with some injuries. The numbers are obviously going to improve, but I think it's very clear that the days of him being a 20-a-night scorer are over. But there is still something to be said about this team's success so far, with him being the only truly notable addition. The team is currently the 2nd seed in the East, with a record of 7-3. So far, his teammates and coaches seem to be raving about his effect on the team with his ability to push the pace. Referring to Lowry, Coach Spoelstra said, "It's not necessarily the bottom line of number of fast break points or pace, but when those happen, and you can get some key easy ones during key moments of the game, that can be the difference of winning and losing. That can take an offense from one level to an entirely different tier." But his pace is one thing that I dreaded the most competing against him, because it was unpredictable, unscripted moments that you really can't scheme against. His level of IQ and skill in those moments is as good as anyone in the league. Jimmy Butler said he's always looking to pitch the ball ahead. You gotta be in some really good shape to be out there in what we call Kyle Chaos. Tyler Hero talked about how he felt Lowry was really the only true point guard that he's played with since being in Miami. This is a team that's built on a defensive and gritty identity, and it appears that Lowry might be that missing piece to really tap into their offensive potential. So far, I'm gonna give the signing a B+. As Lowry continues to improve as a scorer as the season goes on, this could quickly become an A. Then we've got to talk about the big moves that the Knicks decided to make. Last season was a special year for New York. After being a dumpster fire in the post-Melo era, New York was finally given hope on the back of Julius Randle making his first All-NBA team, RJ Barrett taking a huge jump in his second season, and getting Derrick Rose midway through the season, but things fell apart in the playoffs. It was very clear they needed to add some more offensive options to this roster, and that's exactly what they did. They signed Evan Fournier to a 4-year, $73 million contract and Kemba Walker to a 2-year, $18 million deal. Given what their options were, I like what they did. They definitely gave Fournier the bag, but their hand was kind of forced, and then Kemba Walker was just really a low-risk, high-reward scenario. Now in the first couple games, Fournier was on fire, which was exciting to see, but I had some concerns as it felt like RJ Barrett was getting lost in the mix. But things have changed. RJ Barrett is rolling right now. The team is 7-4, and by the looks of things, are in for another very solid season. Fournier is averaging 15 points, shooting 38% from 3. Kemba Walker is averaging 12 points, shooting 45% from 3. It's not like these are home run signings that completely change their outlook going forward, but I definitely think they are improved. I'm excited to see what this team can do in the playoffs, so I'm going to give them a B. Now the big move that everyone's been talking about is the trade between the Wizards and Lakers that teamed up Russell Westbrook with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's kind of funny looking back at just how much optimism there was for this trade. I'm not sure what we expected. Westbrook's coming off a season with the Wizards where yes, he averaged his triple-double, but he shot 44% from the field and 32% from 3. The Lakers gave up Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and a first-round selection for Westbrook. So far, the Lakers are just one game above 500, with Westbrook averaging 19-9-9, shooting an impressively bad 41% from the field and 25% from 3. Oh, and over 5 turnovers a game. The lack of efficiency is one thing, but it's clear that Westbrook has no plans of taking a back seat. He's already had a whole season's worth of bricks in crunch time that really have me concerned for what this team is going to look like in the playoffs. Now, it's early on in the season. LeBron's missed some time. We can't write this team off. There's a lot of changes to this roster, but as of right now, I'm just not confident. On the other hand of the trade, it's working out beautifully. Somehow the Wizards are 7-3 to start the season, with a lot of the players from this trade being a massive role in their success. Montrezl Harrell's back in the running for 6th Man of the Year, averaging 18-9. Kyle Kuzma is averaging 15-10, and KCP is continuing to be that valuable 3-and-D wing, averaging 9 points, shooting 40% from 3. The team also brought in Spencer Dinwiddie on a 3-year, $60 million deal, and to this point is averaging 16 points, shooting 38% from 3. I think I've got to give them an A-. Their goal is to keep Bradley Beal around and build a competent roster around him. They did that. Now, he still might leave, but I commend the effort. For the Lakers, since we're going based on what we know right now, I've got to give them a D. Not just because of how Westbrook is playing, not just because of the loss of guys like KCP, not just their decision to go with Westbrook with a Buddy Hield trade on the table, but the combination of all these things. Now, with that said, the Lakers still managed to get a huge signing this offseason that's looking amazing right now, and that's Carmelo Anthony. So far, he's been on absolute fire, averaging 18 points, shooting 50% from the field, and 52% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. He's become a catch-and-shoot assassin. There's no doubt that this signing is an A, which should give Lakers fans hope if Frank Vogel in this roster can figure out Russell Westbrook's fit. Now, there was a lot more moves that went down, but I felt these were definitely the biggest moves. The only other semi-notable moves by a team that I thought about talking about were from the Pelicans, but I think I want to wait for Zion's return before giving them a grade. But that's the end video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Who took the biggest L? Who took the biggest W? Make sure you guys go to the link in the description. Check out PrizePicks. I was serious. If you go over there, use code Jimmer. Send me your picks on Twitter. I will follow you back. And with all that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.